Okay, so I'm going to try and make a start on today's video, which is going to be the second episode of my betting diary. I want to start by just saying Merry Christmas to everyone and a Happy New Year to come. I hope everyone's enjoying the festive period. And it's also a great time of the year for sports betting with the Boxing Day football starting today and the tennis season just around the corner now, starting in the new year. So just thought I'd make the first part of this video talking a bit about my own service, talking about when that's due to start, what's just around the corner. So essentially the ATP and WTA tournaments start next Monday. You've got 4 250 events, 2 ATP, 2 WTA. As I've kind of outlined in my previous video, I'm focusing a lot more on ATP this season in terms of making sure I'm on track of every match. But I will also follow WTA Adelaide, I'm sure, because it's a strong field. So it will be interesting to monitor them all. There's also a team event this week. It's the sort of United Nations Cup, which is sort of a new kind of format of the ATP Cup last year. Essentially, the new addition to that is going to be the mixed doubles element. So it's a men's rubber and a women's rubber, and then they have a mixed doubles match at the end. So based on the quotes, it looks like a really nice, interesting, fresh format, and the players are going to be interested and motivated, I'm sure. But from a betting perspective, I'm really going to be pretty cautious this week. The one rule that I've got for myself is to really kind of reduce uncertainty. I don't want to be betting on matches where there's a lot of kind of variance in terms of what potentially could happen, and the first matches of players' season, you've got no idea on fitness levels, you've got no idea on quite who's going to care as much as other guys, and so I'm sure, and also I don't have a clue on court conditions, so for me it's definitely going to be few bets, if any, for the first few days, but maybe by the weekend that tournament will start kind of heating up and you'll be able to find a bit more information about form, etc. So it would be quite nice to have a bot bet or two for the next update on Sunday for my own Wadster service, but we're just going to have to wait and see. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is new features for the bot, which I'm quite excited for actually. I'm going to allude to talk about one when I bring up one of the new tipsters later, because I think that's something that can be relevant to that. But I'm also going to talk about a couple of new features that I have in the pipeline. They're not going to be ready straight away, but ones for the next few months. One of them is the ability to edit bets once they've already been posted on the bot. A big issue I have right now in terms of betting at qualifiers or betting challengers, for example, is that the markets are not going to be as liquid. There's going to be lower limits, and when I place a bet for the bot on one like that, it could be I bet at 2.0 and then the price drops to 1.8 straight away at Pinnacle, and that's not really fair to you guys as subscribers. The prices aren't achievable and there's not really a way around it. I just have to kind of avoid those bets. But what I'm going to do now is going to be to have an option of editing the bets and editing the prices. So I would send a bet. Maybe I send an outright bet, for example, on a good one from last season would have been Kekmanovic to win Miami. It was 500 to 1, but I felt the minimum price was 100 to 1 sort of thing. So I could send that at the Bet365 price of 500 to 1. within 5 minutes it gets cut to 250 to 1. It's still a bettable price in my mind. So what I'd do is I'd send the bet at 500 to 1 to the Bet365 exclusive group. The price gets cut to 250 to 1. 5 minutes later, that's enough time for the vast majority to get their bets on. I would then be able to edit that bet and edit the price on the bot. So I would make an adjustment. The price would change to 251. And then we've still been able to place that bet through the bot despite the price being cut. So that should help boost volume, especially with ones where I really consider it decent value, yet I know the limits aren't liquid, so there's certainly going to be a purpose for that. And that feature will be available for other tipsters that might be sort of having the same things with where there's uncertainty in terms of how much prices could be cut. And I think that will be a really nice new feature for the bot, to be honest. The second feature that I'm considering is just a referral scheme which has more incentive for you guys. So I've kind of sort of done a basic one in the past of if you purchase a certain amount of points and a subscriber you refer gets then purchases points, you would take half of that or something like along those lines. The new kind of adaptation to that is the ability for a subscriber to make income from the referring others, because obviously it's great for me if you refer people to the bot and it's word of mouth. So how it would work is if someone's interested in referring a number of users to the bot, they would have we would give them a code. It might be something like GRG or GRG1 or something. You would give that code to your friends. They would type in that code when they sign up to a bot. If after, say, 3 members sign up to the bot that you've referred to, that code would then kick in, and then you would get a percentage of the future money that they spend on the bot, if that makes sense, for a given time frame, maybe a year or two. I'm trying to figure out the finer details, but essentially you would get maybe 15 to 25% of the total revenue generated from the users you refer to on the bot. It probably sounds a little bit complicated when just describing it like it is, but I think it's going to be a way of really incentivizing you guys to, bring in some members and to have that extra sort of interactive element. So yeah, that's a new feature that's planned for the bot. Again, won't be immediate, but in the months to come, that's something that would be a great way of kind of like marketing for me without having to resort to bragging and all sorts of, the traditional Twitter marketing techniques of bragging about results. I want it to be a system where I'm relying on you guys as loyal subscribers helping me out, because I also know that the people that will be interested in bets I can trust the guys that you're referring to, because we have a lot of great educated bettors already in the subscriber base, and I kind of want to keep it to that. I want it to our follower base to be a serious bettors, like people that understand losing runs, that like the system. So it's a great way of kind of keeping that all in-house a bit more. I don't want to be sort of using any marketing techniques, using Twitter accounts with 50,000 followers and getting them to like those kind of things. Like, I'd far rather keep it to guys I trust, and your word of mouth, etc., would be a great help in this situation, and hopefully from our end we can help you make a bit of income from that as well. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is obviously the main component to this whole video, is the new services. And I believe I'm doing a screen recording as it is. It's just on my webpage at the moment, but we have updated the website. So information about the new services is now live. So the first service we've got is Portugal Bets. It's from a guy called Jorge. He runs a Picchio account where he's now Grandmaster with a level stakes yield of close to 11% through 480 selections. And I'll bring up that Picchio page. No, I won't now, but it's on the page, so you can find it if you need to. But essentially, it's all Portuguese leagues. It's there's going to be, if we go to the results, he has historical data from 5 different leagues. So you've got the top Portuguese league, you've got Liga 2, the 3rd division, 4th division, and the women's division. And bets can come from all 5 of those leagues. Obviously, the lower leagues are going to be a bit more inefficient, but then they're also going to be less available to bet at high limits on the exchange and Pinnacle. So as you can see, the results are great for all the divisions, to be honest. A return on investment of close to 7% in that even the highest league is very good for a top sort of European football league. And then the ROI gets higher for the lower divisions. So what we're going to do, I can assume that a few might be guessing this already, but we're going to have different groups to reflect the kind of ease of being able to bet it as a subscriber. So although all the books, all the bets are going to be Pinnacle or other Asian books, the second highest price at an Asian bookmaker, it's going to be the case that so they should be like widely available at the European bookmakers that are outside of the Asian books, of course, as well. It tends to work out that way. But they're going to be 2 groups. There's going to be a group for the top 2 divisions, which are going to be the highest limits, and there's going to be a group for all bets, which is going to include the 3rd and the 4th division and the women's division as well. The limits will be €300 to bet, even in the lowest group at Pinnacle. So even that group should be achievable for the mass majority, but it's going to be a case that we're going to have to monitor that one a bit more and make sure that subscribers are able to get fairly close. Obviously, I think when you join a group like this with 3rd and 4th division bets, you've got to understand that prices are likely to go quicker in terms of the weight of money. There's going to be more of a reaction. But in terms of the results are fantastic. So that you've got more margin for error on those ones. If the price is cut from 1.9 to 1.85 or even 1.9 to 1.8, an ROI of 15%, you've still got plenty of margin for value even on those kind of price cuts. So I would personally recommend following both groups if you can, but if you can only follow the Portuguese top 2 division, they're likely to have very high liquidity and limits, and obviously an ROI of close to 10% on the top 2 divisions, which is great. Really happy to have Jorge on board. Just had some chats with him initially and really seems like a professional guy. And yeah, I think I've given all the main information you need there. The next kind of Portuguese fixtures are on the 28th of December. So what we're kind of hoping, it's all a little bit rushed, but hoping to have the bot ready for the 28th and for Jorge to start kind of tipping from then onwards, essentially. So that could all be happening very soon. It's likely that the bot link, there's no bot link at the moment, my brother's still got to sort that out, will be available in the next couple of days. The best way to find out about when that exact time comes will be via email. We might have a limit to say 20-25 places for the first couple of days, so obviously if you're on the email list, you should definitely have the possibility of signing up if you want to, and then we'll release it to a wider audience after that if we find that prices are maintaining, etc. So yeah, that's the first new service. Obviously, feel free to ask any questions about things I haven't covered, but a lot of it should be on the web page itself. The second new service is Bonz Bets, and this is a really exciting service in my opinion because it's all going to be live bets. But last year alone, he returned close to 300 units of profit. If we scroll down to the results page, or not the results page, but the results summary, you can see that there were many months with plus 20 points, and the average is close to 25 points a month. The great thing about it is you've got a fantastic combination of both really high turnover, a really good strike rate, and then that in itself is going to equate to good consistent profit. And the great thing about a live service with a high strike rate, so his average odds are about 2.0, 2.1 perhaps, is that even if you miss bets, like there's not going to be any single bet that contributes too much profit to the overall picture, which is what you want with live betting. Like it is at a lower average odds, so you can bet like 70-75%, and rest assured you're going to be pretty close to the sort of average profit or the average ROI of the service, which is what you're looking for. So when looking at the details a bit more, all bets are going to be with Bet365, so an account for there is obviously going to be a massive help, and if you have a Bet365 account, in my opinion, it's a complete no-brainer to sign up to this service, because you should be able to follow easily within the time. They're all going to be live, as I said. The tipping volume is going to be high. It's going to be 175 bets a month or so, and the turnover will be about 300 points for that period. We're hoping, based on kind of like the historical data, how well last year went, that the ROI probably will be about 10-11%, and in fact would equate to almost average profit of close to 30 points a month, really. Obviously, don't want to put pressure on him, but it's a very solid set of results from last year, and which is obviously a lot to be optimistic about. So the weekends are obviously going to be the peak times. Bonz was saying that you can get close to 30 bets on a or plus on a weekend, and there will be obviously peak times where it might be 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and maybe 4 or 5 bets are being sent in a short space of time. The key to remember with this is if you're not active at the time, or you're not around to place live bets, it's no problem at all. They don't affect your account. For those that aren't aware, live bets work in that you have to open up the live bet to receive it. You get a box that pops up with the information. The box that pops up and it's sealed, so there's no information about the bet until you click I want to see the live bet. Once you do, it gives you the information about the bet itself, like the price, the stake, and the match, and then you bet that live bet, and then it affects your bot account. So the next new feature that I was talking about with the bot is going to be that the expiry time of the bot can be controlled by the tipster. This is important for football because if there's a goal, for example, and it's scored, the price will just disappear just like that. So we need a way of being able to manually expire the bets from our end. Otherwise, there's going to be lots of people opening up bets after a goal's been scored and being like, we can't get this price. So that's going to be a cool new feature. And also what we're looking to do is to have a feature which allows the tipster to control how long the live bet will be until it expires. For example, if there's a bet based on 40 minutes to go, you might have a longer, the tipster Bonz might want to For example, say I want 7 minutes to allow a subscriber to get on this bet, assuming there's not been a goal. If there's a match where you're 30 minutes in and you've only got 15 minutes to place the bet, the time that Bonz might set might be 3 minutes. Or if there's a lot of matches on and the priority is getting a large number of bets out to subscribers, it might just be that you'd have these 2 minutes or 2 or 3 minutes to place the bet. So it's just going to add a lot more flexibility to that. What is inevitable though is there are going to be times where a goal is scored and Bonz just isn't able to follow the fact there's been a goal straight away, or there's a delay between Bonz manually expiring the bet and it going through on the bot. Because of the way my brother's got it set up, it's going to take 10 to 15 seconds to go through the system. What that will mean is there are going to be occasions where a goal is scored and you've opened the bet and realise you can't place the bet. It's probably going to be pretty rare, but there will be occasions where that happens. When that does happen, of course, get in touch either with me or Bonz, and we'll be able to make points adjustments from our end. So that shouldn't be an issue. It's just something to be aware of. And if you're just interested in the service but don't have an access to a Bet365 account, then feel free to get in touch, because we're aware that if you've got access to other serious bookmakers, the prices might be good enough to follow at other live bookies, but you want that reassurance that it is possible to do so. For those users, we're happy to kind of do some sort of trial system. If you, as I said, if you contact us, we can kind of arrange the details on that, and see what's kind of whether it's viable for you to follow. So yeah, don't be hesitant to ask if you are interested in the service but don't have access to a Bet365 account. Although the priority for the first few days will be just to make sure that we get a certain amount of subscribers on the Bet365 and just seeing how prices react, or if there are any kind of glitches within the system. But I'm assuming that a week after we start with Bonz, it'll probably be offering sort of those kind of trials for other people to use. So again, there's no bot link ready at the moment, but before, hopefully around the new year, that will be in place. Bonz is going to be starting sending bets through the bot on maybe the 3rd or the 4th of January. I forget the exact date, but it's one of those just before that first weekend of the first new year. So yeah, I really think it's a service that's going to be really worth following, as I said, for that combination of a lot of bets and then really solid ROI, low average odds. If you've got a Bet365 account, it's a really great service to follow. I truly believe that. We're gonna just wrap this up soon because it's a long video already, but what I do want to say is that I have started the recording of bot bets on the platform, Betting GS. We've got 5 from AAABettor. The first 2 are probably going to be live by the time that I have finished recording and sent this video out, but there are 3 other bets that users can follow for free. AAABettor's happily said, yeah, we can sort of use this to sort of see what the service is about. So if you want to follow AAABettor, it's a great service because it's basically anyone's going to be able to follow, because it's Premier League. It's great for two main reasons. Firstly, it's a difficult league to profit from. So the fact that he's got an ROI of close to 6% on the Premier League is great in itself. I won't give all the information about it now because it's all on the website, and most of you already know how it works. But just a couple of additional things to mention is that it's great because if you follow the Premier League and watch the Premier League, it gives you a bit more of an interest in and enjoyment of watching the matches itself. I'll be looking forward to watching Brentford Spurs, and we've got bets on Brentford to win and the over 2.5 goals in that match. It just adds a bit of extra sort of entertainment to the bet itself, alongside obviously the investment of being able to make profit in the long run from that. And the second thing I want to say is that it's actually a great account preserver in terms of it makes your betting behaviour look a bit more muggy, because that assumption is the markets are so efficient in the top league, right? So it's great to be able to place these bets with Bet365, and you might have other bets on other sports that are more likely to give up accounts. So this can be a way of priming, or a way of kind of following a really good service whilst also helping your betting accounts, which is great in itself. And like Arn's a real AAABettor's a real professional, is really thinks about football very deeply, and is great to talk to about any betting related inquiries. So feel free to always, he's a bit like me in terms of how I run my tennis service. We enjoy sort of talking about the sport and about the betting process. So I'm sure you won't mind me saying, always feel free to get in touch with him if you want to talk about anything relating to his service or the bets also. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap that up now because it's been a really long video and I didn't have a clue how long this would take, but yeah, had a lot of content to get through. So yeah, just basically going into next week, we've obviously got the ATP and WTA starting, so I'll be able to talk about my own betting a bit more and how those first weeks have gone. And obviously from now on, it's going to be more about talking about how the weeks have gone, and the main meat of the project is now essentially underway from this point forward, which is super exciting. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and obviously feel free to subscribe both to my email list and to my YouTube channel, because the email list is always going to be the first place for information about the bot spaces itself, and then the YouTube and my Twitter as well. I'll be releasing information about these videos. One, I always forget something, don't I? I think it's going to be a running theme, but one final thing is we now have information for potential tipsters about how it works. If you want to be a tipster on the platform, what we need in terms of a betting record, what you need to be considering in terms of the markets, the volume, how you're going to make it user friendly, and how the revenue share works. The tipster's going to take the vast majority, 60%. Me and my brother will take 20% each. So yeah, just information on all of that as well. So yeah, managed to get that all done in half an hour, and I hope a few of you are able to watch this before the 3 o'clock kickoff start and are able to follow the bets on that Arn's AAABettor has posted today. So yeah, thanks everyone, and since I won't be messaging my next videos after the new year, wishing you all a great new year and hope you've enjoyed the video.